Top 10 British TV shows that America is obsessed with. And as an American living in beautiful California, I will give you my thoughts about if this is true or not. Already I see Sherlock, and that is absolutely true. I believe I've seen all of them. I've seen the first season probably twice now. But I'm curious to see what other top shows there are, because some of these I'm sure have just spread like wildfire across the US, like the Beatles coming to the US. It was a crazy time, it seems like. So let's just jump into this. Let's see what the British have blessed us with today. Many of my favorite actors and movies and TV shows are all British, you know. They know what they're doing.
Turns out we're not the only ones hooked on these sublime series. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 British shows that America is obsessed with. For this list, we've broken down the best of British programs that have proven especially popular with North American audiences. From cult comedy to seminal sci-fi, it's all eyes on the UK. Number 10, Catastrophe. The Americans got their first taste of this Britcom, albeit one that was created by Irish actress Sharon Horgan and American comedian Rob Delaney on Amazon Prime.
I'm pregnant.
Did you just say pregnant?
Yeah, I said pregnant. Do you want me to say it again?
This comedy series about a couple who barely know each other and fall pregnant together made waves across the pond for all the same reasons that it's loved in the UK.
Is he circumcised? Most American men are, I've heard.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's brash, bold, and it touches on topics that writers normally shy away from. It also helps that one of its leading characters is played by a US comic, and that it features Carrie Fisher. Number 9, Monty Python.
I have definitely don't watch tons of TV. I've never heard of that show before. Also, Amazon Prime, their TV was not overly popular, you know, back in, 2015, 2016, whatever the date was on that. Also, this one, Monty Python's Flying Circus. I've heard of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but not this one either. I'm doing terrible. I'm sorry.
Python's Flying Circus. And now for something completely different.
Name? What?
Your name, please, your name.
David.
David. Sure?
Oh, yes.
David Sherlock.
No, Thomas.
This comically risque series became popular in America back in 1974 when a PBS station in Dallas began transmitting it, giving the Pythons an unlikely foothold in the country.
Now, how do you plead?
We're innocent.
Having once been labelled as a bizarre, unpredictable show, it's surprising just how well America took to it. Turns out its kooky, silly nature was what appealed most though. And with the release of their trio of feature films, the only way was up for the Monty Python team.
This is a late parent.
Number 8, Peaky Blinders.
I mean, it looks funny, and honestly, I might watch a little bit of that. I'll see where it's streaming. Over the top and just fun. Peaky Blinders, on the other hand, is I have seen that. Not all of it, but Peaky Blinders was pretty, as Californians would say, mainly surfers, pretty gnarly, pretty crazy.
This period crime drama set in 1920s Birmingham has well and truly taken America by storm. And is it any wonder? Our cousins across the pond are certainly used to some good crime-based telly, and this show, with its stellar cast, stunning sets, brilliant costumes, and engaging plotlines, doesn't disappoint.
That's what I said.
With Cillian Murphy at the helm, plus a key role for Tom Hardy, expectations were obviously high all around the world. But Peaky Blinders definitely delivers, regardless of which side of the Atlantic you're on.
Intelligence is a very valuable thing, isn't it, my friend? Usually it comes far too late.
Number 7, Merlin. This fantasy drama was one of the first British programs to be shown on network television in the United States, when NBC began transmitting the series in June 2009. So it's fair to say that Merlin was a pretty big achievement in the small screen world. The show later relocated to Sci-Fi, a cable network, tapping into the same kind of audience that had already become addicted to things like Doctor Who. And in a time before the likes of Game of Thrones, you can see why it was so popular.
Your challenge. Last 1 minute, free combat. Grimond, second son of Wessex.
King Arthur, wizards, and a medieval world? Oh yes, please.
I started to watch that, but I didn't give it enough time, I don't think. But I feel like it'd be a show that I would watch. But also, going back to Peaky Blinders. Very true. That definitely took the US by storm. Generally, everyone that watches TV knows about Peaky Blinders. Many have watched it. Merlin, I don't really know if I've known anyone that has seen it. I love anything medieval fantasy. I'm all for, so this is right down my alley, and I have not seen it yet. And I'm sure they're going to mention Doctor Who. They just mentioned it there, but like a true, hey, this is spot number 1. Whatever it is, I actually don't know what would be number 1 or 2 or 3.
Number 6, Luther. Unsurprisingly, the Brits aren't the only ones just slightly obsessed with Detective Chief Inspector John Luther and his work in the Serious Crime Unit. Idris Elba is a well-known face on American screens, what with the popularity of the Baltimore-based The Wire. But Luther doesn't just rely on its celebrity lead actor.
I'm coming for you.
Some brilliant storylines, well-rounded characters, and edge-of-your-seat style thrills are what makes this crime series so watchable, turning it into one of the most binge-worthy entries on today's countdown.
You're John Luther who sees all, knows all. Come on, John.
Number 5, The Fall. Maybe it shouldn't be too shocking that The Fall caught US attention. After all, 2 of its lead actors, Agent Scully herself, Gillian Anderson, and Jamie Dornan of 50 Shades fame, are both big Hollywood names. But if the star power is what brought the viewers through the door, it's the gritty nature of this show that kept them watching. The central chase to catch a serial killer isn't for the faint-hearted.
Can you give me a couple more hours?
I don't know, Mum.
But with Anderson's brilliant detective leading the way, this is one series that demands to be seen from dramatic beginning to the bitter end.
Goodness.
Number 4, Sherlock.
Never heard of that previous one. Luther, I do know, is popular here in the US. I have never seen it. Never heard of the previous one. Definitely have heard of Sherlock. We talked about that in the beginning, so I won't pause it for this one. Americans generally love Sherlock and actors.
Sherlock. Benedict Cumberbatch is clearly a household name now, but his journey towards worldwide fame probably started here.
She's got an umbrella in her left-hand pocket, but it's dry and unused, not just wind, strong wind, too strong to use her umbrella.
Because America is just as fascinated as Britain by Batch's modern take on Sherlock Holmes. Which really says something about Benedict's performance, because Sherlock closely contends with other American-made Arthur Conan Doyle adaptations, including CBS's similar series Elementary and the Robert Downey Jr.-led films.
This is my hard drive, and it only makes sense to put things in there that are useful.
There's just something special in the on-screen chemistry between Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, spearheaded by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss behind the scenes.
But it's the solar system! Oh, hell, what does that matter?
Number 3, Black Mirror. This British anthology series, created by the super satirist Charlie Brooker of Screenwrite fame, is nothing short of captivating. With black humour, dark cynicism, and a sci-fi edge, Black Mirror is both a twisted reflection of our own current reality and a stark warning on where we're headed.
You could have forever.
Forever? Who can even make sense of forever?
With each story being a standalone production and each installment uniquely written and superbly acted, it's no surprise that America has jumped on this particular bandwagon, especially considering the endless supply of well-known faces too.
Well, you're supposed to say something like engage or increase thrust.
Just f***ing go.
So what's not to like? Number 2, Doctor...
Never seen that either, but I have heard of it, and I didn't know each episode had their own individual plot. And Doctor Who is number 2, I do not know what's 1. If Doctor Who is 2, because I know a lot of people that watch Doctor Who actually have a poster still of Doctor Who.
While Doctor Who's original run gave it a kind of cult following status, the 2005 revival gained a whole new audience. The 1996 TV movie was a direct attempt to find a footing in the United States, and yet it failed to do so. but knew who arrived just as Star Trek Enterprise went
Oh.
down in flames, leaving science fiction fans in the US ready for something different to scratch their tech and fantasy itch.
Now we can end this hunt with a slaughter.
With higher production values, the writing talents of Russell T Davies, plus Christopher Eccleston, and then David Tennant taking the lead, Doctor Who became sci-fi supreme.
I look a bit different, but it's me. It's the Doctor.
Number 1, Downton Abbey.
Of course. I haven't seen this. Some of my family members are obsessed with the show. Can't believe I didn't think of Downton Abbey. Ooh.
The toast of today's list is this incredibly popular period drama. Of course, America was going to become obsessed.
I didn't run Downton for 30 years. To see it go, lock, stock and barrel to a stranger from God knows where.
It's filled with themes and things that US audiences love. High production values, a period setting, a sense of English aristocracy, and a whiff of sophistication.
We love that stuff because we don't have that here.
You know what all work and no play did for Jack?
You think I'm a dull boy anyway, don't you?
With its stately setting, interesting characters, and dramatic storylines, Downton soon became a favourite for households across the rest of the world too. Fueling posh British stereotypes for a brand new generation, but bringing it all together in undoubted style, it's a quintessential classic. If only everyone could sit in and drink tea all day, eh?
Where did they even film this? Where's Downton Abbey filmed, this location, and can you visit it? Or is it just a private residence that they say, yes, you could film here? Let me know what your favorite is out of all of these shows, what you've seen, and honestly what I should see, or if they've missed something on this list, because every once in a while I'll get into a show and I'll just binge watch it, start to finish, and then I'll just have nothing for months. So I'm open. But give me any flavor of any of these shows. Good shows, bad shows, don't watch, so on and so forth, or anything like, wow, I can't believe that's popular in America. How is that possible? So until that time, let me know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Beautiful shows. I've watched quite a few of these, and yeah, keep on binge watching. Have a good rest of your day.